After the tribe has spoken, players get the chance to sit down and have a chat with Anna.
Okay.
All right, welcome back to I Was Rooting For You. We were all rooting for you. Survivor After Show for Mystic Tundra. Hey, Cambry.
Hey, Anna.
Hey. Okay, so your game was incredible. I'm gonna have to compliment you on that. This was your first game, so tell me about like your experience here and like how it all went.
Coming into it, I knew that, I thought that my weaknesses were was gonna be my social game, and I thought physically that's where I was gonna do well, but it was the complete opposite. And I think people definitely underestimated me because in the beginning, the other team chose to send me to the exile.
Right.
Which actually was good and bad for my game because I was kind of disconnected from my tribe, but then they were like, it was still so fresh and new that everything was okay. And then what happened was whenever we switched teams, Drake and I were the only two who were sent to the other tribe, so we were the outsiders, and I fought through, I think, 3 evictions, what do we call them? Tribal councils?
Tribal councils.
Yeah. 3, without even having to use the idol that I found in exile. Then I ended up picking a side because I was playing both sides at first, and I picked the right side. And then just in the end, loyalty won out, and P couldn't go back on his deal with Brody, and I mean, he ended up winning, so I guess that was the right move, but, still a little salty.
I do want to talk about you. You definitely played both sides during this game, and I mean, that's hard to do. Did you have a plan to do that before you came in?
No, I didn't have a plan to align myself with both sides, but I did have a plan to talk to both sides, which I guess is the same thing, so I guess yes.
Yeah, that is a good, solid strategy. Did you have any other form of strategy when you came in?
No, just to win all the challenges, which did not happen.
So I do want to talk about the final 4 people, and just like how you were in that situation, because I mean that was a lot. That whole competition with you going out. I mean, I want to talk about that tie and.
Okay, so Brody and Petey made a final 2, which I knew about. Jake and I made a final 2, an unspoken final 2, but they didn't know about it because we didn't want to tell them that, because then obviously they'd go for one of us. I was closer to Brody than I was to Petey. Jake and I were Brody's only source of information from the other side, and I feel like honestly I was the only source from the other side because I was aligned with the other side, but they weren't. So everything I told to Jake was able to tell Brody and Petey, and Brody was the one to do things about that. So
yeah. So I mean, overall, your game was awesome, and I loved it, and I should not show that much bias on my interview show, but it's okay. I mean, I thought you were awesome, and this being your first game, that's hard to do, so I commend you for that.
thank you.
Is there anything that you would have gone back and done or not done, if you could turn back time?
I wish I would have won immunity on that 4, because that would have y'all. No, I don't want to relive that moment. So close, but so far away. If I would have won that, then I would have been set. But that didn't happen. So if I could change one thing, it'd be winning that.
Who was your biggest ally out of everyone?
Jake, bro.
Jake, for sure.
100%. Love that kid. Favorite.
And who was did you think was trying to or actually was really leading the pack during this game? And it doesn't matter if it's, separate tribes or all together.
Oh. Honestly, there's 2 sides to it. There's the side that is active, the side that does things about things, and then there's a side that is behind the scenes and gets things into motion. by like knowing things, but I couldn't really pick a specific leader. But if I on the Maroon tribe, well, after we switched teams and all like that, Amelia was really good, and Brody happened to be just the more outspoken person, which, yeah, that's it.
Right. And lastly, to wrap this all up, my last question: bread.
Brent?
Bread.
Bread. IDK.
Thank you very much, Camry. This has been. We were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you after show for Survivor. Mystic Tundra. Learned something from this.
Thanks, Hannah.
Welcome back to I Was Rooting for You. We were all rooting for you. Our after show for Survivor Mystic Tundra. We're sitting here with our winner. Oh my God. How are you feeling about that?
I'm still kind of shook about it, but I think I'm starting to come down from cloud nine a little bit and I can kind of process it, so.
Yeah. Okay, so tell me about the top 3 and strengths you had against the people that were there.
Well, honestly, I couldn't have been happier with the top 3. Like, honestly, once we got to Final 4, I would have been happy with any one of us winning. But just the fact that this Final 3 was the Final 3 deal that we made early on in the tribal rounds. So just the fact that we were able to stick together, even coming from a squandered tribe of about 4 people to their 7, that made it a lot sweeter to know that our tribe was able to stick it out and have that alliance until the very end. So I really couldn't be happier about that Final 3. And then also just talking about like the advantages that I had over Brody and Jake. I think the jury, because honestly, like I'll go on record to say that Brody played a fantastic game. Brody and Jake did. Like they both played a fantastic game. They both made amazing moves throughout the game. But I think the area that I was able to plead with the jury that I would argue got me a lot of their votes was the fact that I pled loyalty to the very end, because I had a chance to take Brody out for the final tribal council and would have been a great move on my resume, a great big move for me to like present to the rest of the jury. But I knew that loyalty was more important to me than anything. I prided myself on not lying this entire time except to get Tristan out, but that's because he brought my name up first. But honestly, I prided myself on loyalty and on honesty and just making as many friends with the jury as possible during the game, so that way, even though I eventually had to vote them out, their blood wasn't on my hands. It was on Brody's mostly.
There was a lot of talk around the jury and around the 3 of y'all that Brody saying, you know, he was leading you guys and that y'all wouldn't have done what you did without Brody or without other people.
Oh, that's me.
Is it you? Okay, sorry. Without other people, you know, telling you what to do or giving you, you know, hints. So how would you defend yourself against that?
Well, while Brody was very much the ringleader of our alliance, I would argue that he wouldn't have got nearly as far without me and Jake specifically, and also Cambry. Like, and really the moves that we made, they weren't all Brody. Like a lot of them were suggested by me or by Jake, and even Cambry contributed to the moves that we made, because we really wanted to keep that strong 4 alliance strong to the very end. So I would argue that a lot of the moves that we made, or a lot of the moves Brody made, he couldn't have made without our input and our help, because like, while Brody says he can take credit for them, I feel like without our alliance, without our strong four alliance, he wouldn't have gotten nearly as far in the game as he actually did.
So, okay, as far as the strategy, did you start with a strategy in mind and follow that strategy, or did you just go through the game? How did it go?
Going into the game, I knew that I didn't know a lot of the people on the cast. Like, pretty much the people that I knew were basically the final six. But, so really my strategy coming in as was just to make as many friends as possible, form as many relationships, because I didn't know what my alliances were going to look like come time for the merge. So my main goal was during the tribal rounds to just make myself, like, just present myself as a loyal teammate and a loyal ally, and then hopefully as the merge went on, those allies would stay strong to me, and obviously they did, because my name was never brought up in tribal council. So I think my strategy for the most part worked. I mean, obviously it worked well enough to get me to the final three and to sway the jury votes to vote me to win. But honestly, I think just me being a loyal ally was the difference in the game for me.
All right, is there any final remarks you would like to make as this goes?
This was a fun Survivor. I like having to spread over 2 days. It wasn't as rushed, and we had time. I liked how we had time to really scheme and really like form alliances that I feel like we wouldn't have been able to do had it been all compressed into one day. But other than that, it was a great time. It was fantastic cast. I couldn't have asked for better players to play with. Made some new friends. So I mean, honestly, I couldn't have asked for a better 2 days.
All right, and lastly, to wrap this all up, of all the dog breeds you know, which dog would best describe your personality in the game today, or yesterday, or all of the game?
German Shepherd.
Solid.
Because it is one of the most loyal dog breeds, but if you back it into a corner, it's not afraid to fight back.
That was an incredible answer. This has been I Was Rooting For You. We were all rooting for you. And Petey doesn't have to learn anything from this because he won. So I don't even have to say something from this. Thank you.